I thought I'd chit chat for a little while. Um, I'm on the job hunt right now, part time, but I don't know, maybe more than that. I have had disability for the last 5 years, and you cannot work more than part time, or you'll lose your disability. And I don't know if that's a good idea because I was thinking about what happened to me years and years ago and why I got on disability to begin with, and what happened to me, total mental breakdown. I was a train wreck, and it took years to get help, and it'd be stupid to mess that up just because I miss working. And I really do. Like, I still think about jobs I had that I love so much, and I know I'm never gonna have like that type of lifestyle again. Um, but you know, I am letting it go now, and like letting myself get older, because whatever I got to do in my 20s, like I remember working, I loved my job because I got to meet the most amazing people, and it was weird. I met all kinds of important people, and I didn't know how I even ended up in a job like that. Like, why me? Why did I get lucky? I didn't even have a college degree, nothing. And I got to see, I'm gonna do some name dropping. I got to see Senator McCain sitting in the lobby right across from me. And he looked at me. I'm like, what the? Oh my God. I got to see Fabulous with his entourage, and he also looked at me. And technically, we weren't allowed to acknowledge these people, ask them for autographs, stuff like that. Sorry, my hair is a mess right now. I have my hair like super short. Um, Not that short, it's about to here. But I remember meeting the first celebrity I ever met. I got so nervous. My manager's like, "Oh, I need you to be here and be on your best or whatever because this person's going to be here in like 10 minutes." And I look at the name on the computer, and it's Jenny McCarthy from a show I watched when I was a teenager on MTV. She was um, it wasn't like, it was a game show. And I loved her, and I got so nervous, and she walked right up to me. I'm like, no way. Jenny McCarthy's right in front of me. How I gotta act cool. Act cool. Just act cool. And I did, but she made me so nervous. And then later I met Kevin Spacey because they were filming a movie in my city. It was called Recount. And my dad ended up as an extra, and he got to hold an umbrella in the movie. And I met the cast, and they were so amazing. They were personable. They talked to me. Why are you talking to me? I'm nobody. And they, like, every day after work, a few of them would come by. Like this guy, Bruce Altman, I think. I don't remember the other, something Fortune. They'd always come by and talk to me normally. And I'm like, I saw you in Girl Interrupted with Winona Ryder. I saw you. I saw you in a lot of movies, and you're just talking to me, and it's weird. And I had so much fun, um, because it was also football, and we weren't allowed to be around the football players. There's like this big no-no for girls. So my friend was always checking him in. This was a hotel, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. And, he was the lucky one. But I felt lucky meeting, I can't remember. I remember meeting Kevin Spacey. Um, I'm s- I'm looking at something else. I'm doing something else. Somebody's like, "Excuse me." I turn around. I'm like, "Oh." It was Kevin Spacey, and he laughed, and he asked me for towels or some shit, and it was just weird. Like, you're right in front of me. I cannot believe this. I was very starstruck and I did my best to stay cool. It was easy when, like, I remember Laura Dern calling on the phone asking for something. Oh, and Mira Sorvino right over there looking at me. I'm like, oh my God, you're right there. Like, I've watched you on so many movies. Wise Girls, with Mariah Carey, and just she's standing right freaking there. I'm like, wow. So I also got all these fun perks when I worked there. I don't know how I got this lucky. I don't know how I did not deserve this crap. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know. I thought about it for years. Like, how did I even get this job? Um, I got free hotel rooms everywhere, and I would get 12 nights a year. So I would take like 3 days to New York, and I kept going to New York. I could not stop going to New York. It was the only place I wanted to go, and Orlando. So I would go to Orlando, I go to the theme park, and I stay in these fancy freaking hotels. And it's like, how did I even, what? And then, I thought about it for years. Like, this is a part of my life. I don't know why. Why me? And when I was homeless in LA, I met people there that were nice to me and walk around with me and stuff. I get to know people all the time. And I remember Pharrell was serving food doing this charity thing. And my friend is like, "Do you want to go talk to him?" I'm like, because I look like crap. Like, I cannot go talk to this guy looking the way I do and looking like a bum. And I think about it now. I took his picture, and I've met Flavor Flav, which he bought me coffee. Um, that wasn't even when, like, I wasn't even working in these places when I met these people later. I saw Macaulay Culkin's brother in Central Park when I lived there. Um, this lady from, God, I can't remember, but we were waiting for the guy from 30 Rock at a bar because they were doing this thing. And he didn't show up, but a few of the other celebrities were there serving drinks. And it's like, you're serving me a freaking cocktail. Um, and it was like another charity event. And it's just these people. When I worked at the hotel, they're like, you cannot act like they're anybody. Just act like they're regular people and talk to them and don't make a big deal out of them and stuff like that. And I didn't. They pretty much, like, what I loved about my job, the things they taught me about being, hmm, I remember in my interviews, I had 3 interviews. It's I was like, I have to work here. There's no saying no. You can't say no to me. In my head, I didn't act like that, and they said, we're all actors here. And that really it changed my life because I thought, well, what if that's what this leads to? At some point, that's so weird. Um, and I was like, nah. But it felt like that was a possibility, like to break into the entertainment industry somehow, meeting people, seeing Fabulous right there. I'm a huge fan with his entourage, all these guys with him, big guys, like security. And he just looks at me and I'm like, I can't do this. I don't even know. I can't even look at you right now. You're right freaking there. And, I was a fan of his for years. And for him to stand there and for this, I felt it was normal. It was like, once you get past that, like, oh my God, you get like, they are just people. You know what I mean? Like, they're regular people. They started out as nobody, became somebody, but they're still just people. So when I was homeless, I was in DC, and, I made friends and stuff and people in the same situation as me. I wasn't freaking nuts yet, but I was just looking for work and trying to get out of, you know, being broke and lost basically because after I lost my job there, like there was nothing that could compare to that, and nothing was good enough ever again. Like screw everything. Um, and even today, that was like 2008, 2007, 2008, 2009. I went back in 2011 for football events, or wait for something. I got like a promotion or something, and then I lost my job because I couldn't keep up with the software and this guy hated me and we didn't mesh well and but I before that happened, I loved everybody I worked with. I was like, where'd you people come from? How did this happen? And because you got to be like a special type of person to work in that environment and you meet amazing people that work with you. And I would say the same thing with restaurants because they like anybody that can be a waiter or waitress has like a remarkable attitude usually and is just automatically good with people. So I would say that's the same thing. It's like super easy to make friends when you're serving because everybody's that personable. I'm trying to get a job like that right now because I kind of miss it. Like the busyness and making friends. I want to make friends again too. So I'm hoping like TGI Fridays calls me and I'm gonna bother them, I think, because I feel like I need that job. I need that type of job right now to like put me back into thinking about my future again. And the way I got that job though, I was waiting tables. Somebody said, "You'd be perfect for this." I'm like, what the fuck? And it was weird because I'll be honest, mentally, I was in a bad place for about 3 months and I did something stupid. I'm not going to say what I did, but I did something stupid to myself. And in the middle of what I was doing, which I'm not going to say, but you could take a wild guess, I snapped out of it and thought I deserve better than this because mentally I was fucked up. I felt like I was going nowhere. I felt hopeless. I felt like my life was nothing. I felt like I'd be alone forever. I'd have no money. I'd never do anything great. I couldn't even like I felt everybody hated me. I was just I get that way and it's not real. And back then I wasn't treated for anything. I just went to therapy and took Benadryl. Did you know that works for anxiety? It does. But anyways, about I I pulled out of my depression. The dark cloud lifted, and then I met this lady that came up to me. She freaking came up to me. She wasn't just sitting at a table. She found me coming out of the dishwashing area, shows me a business card, hands it to me, and says, "You'd be perfect for this." I look at the business card, and it's a very well known hotel. I'm not going to say it on here because I don't know if that's like a good or bad thing. And I'm like, "What? I'm a waitress." Do you? Okay, that's what you think. All right then, you know. But she saw something in me, and if she had never seen that, I would have never gotten to do all the things I got to do. Going to New York, staying in this beautiful place, meeting these amazing people that are intimidating, but it's exciting. I remember shopping in New York. Oh, and having an interview there too, which I didn't get, and I knew I wouldn't because it was kind of out of my league. But I still had that dream. I was like, I'm gonna move to New York anyways, and I did, which sucked because it's not easy. Um, just ugh. But I never gave up hope that there was something out there for me. And I thought about it over the last few years. The last 5 years of my life, I was like really going through therapy, going through my childhood, thinking about what I had as a child. And I had a lot. I was kind of spoiled. We lived in a country club, had a giant freaking house. all the toys you can imagine. I got to go on vacations all the time to like Cocoa Beach resorts. Um, it was like a normal thing in my life, and I forgot all that. Like as a kid, it was all normal to go to um, resort hotels and go swimming and have a multitude of cute bathing suits and cute clothes. And um, we ended up, I'll save that story for another time. But so I put two and two together. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I was raised to be in this kind of environment, and it didn't work out for years. And my aunt was like, you know, you're Cinderella, right? And I was like, I really thought about like that's kind of a Cinderella story where we lost everything. I went to foster care even. Like, how do you go from huge house, country club, happy family, beautiful Christmases, Thanksgivings, to a trailer with strangers, crying myself to sleep, you know, thinking that's it for me, you know, just scary. And then it came back later. For that lifestyle, it really was like and I remember I went to a banquet and I dressed up all pretty. And it is like a Cinderella type of thing. Like, how the hell did I go from thinking I didn't deserve this shit when I did, when I was raised that way? For someone to make you feel like you don't deserve a nice life, it wasn't, it was weird for the last 5 years to fucking realize that. And I still aim for that. I still get depressed and I know why now because it was like somebody took that away from me as a kid. I didn't live like this my dad was an insurance salesman and they made a lot of money. But then later things got screwed up and I don't talk about that. But you know, the last 5 years going through therapy of the comfort I had as a kid and how nice everything was, and like something about carpet, clean, white, beautiful carpet, and having Nintendos and all that stuff, and then good memories and roller skating and the dreams I had as a kid that I held on to tight. I held on to them. I was a ballerina. I was always dancing and singing and had a karaoke machine and wanted to do that with my life. That was my goal, even as a kid. Like, this is it. This is what you're going to do. And I tried when I was 16. I had two auditions, one for a talent show I didn't get, another one from a performing arts school I didn't get. And people always say, well, you sound really good. Oh my God. And, da, 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 da. And then I still don't get it. And always tried for that without telling anybody. So I thought I'm going to move to New York and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go sing. And I'm not going to say anything to anybody because you never know what could happen. As long as you try, you never know. You can't, nothing can happen if you don't try. So I gave it a shot. But then when I got there, my roommate was also trying to be a singer. So I let her have the spotlight and I just gave up on it. And I got my real estate license and like thought maybe later. I'll try this again later. And it's funny. I just wonder if I had talked to Pharrell in LA, maybe, but I didn't want to end up like looking stupid. I know it's ridiculous to have those kind of dreams, but I did a Google search. Like, is it completely impossible to to be a singer? And they're like, no. All of them said no. I'm like, well, am I being ridiculous? Is this impossible? Is it delusional? You know what I mean? And so I've written poetry my whole life and I sing. I'll do karaoke, but I sing all the time. I just don't talk about it because I don't want to be embarrassed by it, and I don't want people to think like you have delusions of grandeur or some stupid crap like that because it's not. It's just dreaming, basically. It's hanging on to a dream you always had. Like I had this dream when I was a kid and I played the keyboard. I learned handbells. I was in the choir at school. Um it's a long time ago, but it stayed with me. Like the what I learned stayed with me. And the more I think about working in that environment years ago and meeting important people, I thought, well, what if I'm an important person too? What if I could be an important person? What if? It just kind of gave me that confidence that I lacked. You know, my friends would always be like, "Oh, you're so good," and da 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 da. But I didn't believe them. I was like, "Well, you're just being nice." But then when I met people, I thought, "Well, you're a regular person. Somehow you did all this. Maybe I can too." Um, I did research, found out how people went from point A to point B. Um, takes a lot of work, but it is possible. You never know what it could lead to. I would share music I made with my friends, and they'd be like, "Well, why don't you go to Vegas and sing in a club or something and see what that's about?" And da da da. And I just thought, like, I don't know. I sometimes you just know that something's gonna work out. I don't know how, but I know. And maybe every doctor in the world, nope, no doctors say I'm crazy about that stuff. They actually encourage it, especially for like therapeutic reasons to express myself. I write all the time and I put a couple of songs on there, but I haven't put them to melodies, and I'm looking to find more ways to do that because I have a lot of material. And even if like they're like, are the first therapist, and she actually came into the restaurant that I was working in, and it made me nervous, but she was like, "So how's your music going?" And encouraged it. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, that's so stupid as a pipe dream. Like, I can't do anything like that. But the more I got to know like important celebrities and stuff, not got to know them, but like meet them, talk to them, it seemed possible. So I think about all of that still. And I'll think, oh, well, I just need to get a job and, you know, face facts and let it go and move on. And then I think I'm cheating myself. I need to go for this. What else is there to do? Remember when I thought I couldn't have a baby? And I did. My little butterball. I thought I couldn't write a song. I did. I thought I couldn't sing in front of people because I wasn't accepted into whatever talent show, but I did karaoke and people really liked it. I did it a lot and people always liked it. And I thought, and then I made another song. My sister shared it with everybody and was like, that's my sister. And people were really proud of me. And I thought, well, but when I was in New York, I didn't want to ruin my friends' goals either. Like, I didn't want to compete with her or feel like I wanted her to do her thing and work on her thing without me even existing in comparison for certain reasons. It just felt wrong. So I worked or, studied real estate and explored New York and just thought about how I'd do that at some point. I'm still thinking about it because I feel like it's supposed to happen. Um, or, whatever. But I don't want to think in terms like that anymore. I don't want to think like it's not possible. I don't want to think that I'm a loser and I don't deserve to go after my dreams. And then I think, okay, well, am I too old? And no, that's not an issue either. I'm just making excuses. So, anyways, I'm going to keep writing and I'm going to keep recording. I do need a job so I can pay for a better system because the recordings I do are just bleh. But I had a laptop years ago and I used Audacity to record Why Don't You Do Right? And it was easier because I had a microphone too. I bought a microphone for like $80 and it worked out so much better. The quality of the song was better. It recorded perfectly. It didn't take me too long. Um, so I'll probably either do that again or pay to go. There's a recording studio. I actually did this years ago. I went and made a demo at a recording studio, and I kind of want to do that again, but with a better producer, which costs money, which I don't want to do. I think I paid like $50 for an hour in the recording studio, but to have a producer is a lot more money, and you know, but that's what some people end up doing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep that on the shelf for now. Um, but I'm writing. At least I'm writing. I'm fucking around with a piano. Using. I'm recording. I finally just. I record covers mostly, but then I recorded a couple of my own songs, and I feel good about it. Like I was like, I actually like listening to this. Like it's somebody else's. So maybe that's a good thing. If I like hearing it a lot, like I wake up, like I want to hear that again, I, I feel good about it. And it's just the beginning of working on stuff like that. And my inspiration is Mariah Carey's songwriting abilities. Not so much like her performing and all that. Like she can perform like nobody's business. Number one artist, female artist ever. But I'm a huge fan of the way she writes songs. And I watch her like crazy and see how you know, I've heard her demos and it's really that simple of like putting your own thing together and next thing you know, God knows what happens. Um you get lucky if you try hard enough. If you are like I think meeting Pharrell wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean? I think some people meet celebrities and they want to give them their tracks, and um, I think it's kind of not. You're trying too hard, in my opinion. Some people try too hard and they get nowhere with it. So when I saw him, I was like, I don't know. This is not a good time. I didn't say anything to certain celebrities I've met because it just I mean I'll know when I know I know. We'll see what happens. Oh, and I met Ryan Cabrera. He we were talking about Ashley Simpson and he was like she shouldn't be singing. And they were dating or whatever. And I think I told him. I might have told him that I was singing and or doing recording. I was recording back then. Um and it was cool to talk to another songwriter that was very chill and laid back. Fabulous was intimidating. Like you have a whole fucking system with you, and some people just have their guitar and their voice and their words and go there and they Ryan Cabrera is more like a solo artist. Fabulous is like Kanye West, like huge production. So I don't know. I admire people that start out with just an instrument and their voice. And right now, my inspiration is the Dead South. I listen to them religiously, and this guy has the raspiest, most beautiful voice I have ever heard, and the music's so good, and the words are stories, and it's just so much talent there. So I listen to all that like religiously, and I get inspired, and I'll listen to some other artists too and get inspired, and watching Mariah Carey interviews get me inspired because of the way she's so humble and nice, just a workaholic, you know what I mean? And treats everything like it's just some regular freaking job when, you know, does never seems to let it go to her head. I could be wrong. Some people feel that she does, but I don't. She seems like a very laid back person, and she works really hard on what she does. She writes everything. So my whole life, I've collected her albums, read through her lyrics, just got that, kind of learned from that. I learned in school. I was in chorus. I learned a lot in school, but I took her writing abilities inspired me to write when I was in high school or whatever. So I kept composition books. Later on, I kept nice journals. A lot of my shit I just throw away, but I remember it. And it's weird. Um, Not because it wasn't any good, but because I'm weird. And I do shit like that because I got issues. So I'm more like a perfectionist with my stuff. I'll write 50 fucking poems and only one of them I'll like. And I write all day. I keep notes on my phone. I always have journals, sketchbooks filled with poems and art, and have melodies in my head. And they actually had a piano on the psych ward, and I got to play it. And people liked it, and they're like, "Oh, that's so haunting," and you're making me depressed. I'm so sorry, but that's my job today. You know, there's nothing else I'm gonna be doing. And it's fun that they had a real piano to play and fuck around with. And I had a keyboard when I was a kid and fuck around with it. And uh, I had piano lessons in private school, but I don't remember them. They come trickling back. But and then I try to do that again and again and again. It's like it's I don't know. I'll just fuck with a piano and go from there. I don't care about the letters and the chords and the da da da's, and I'm really good at knowing how arrangement is within my mind. Um, I just know, you know, and I know when something's bad. I'll tell you that. I'll know when something's really good. I remember being in the subway once, and this guy, I'm waiting on the subway, and this guy's got his guitar, and he's leaning up against the wall, and he's singing, and he's got a few CDs next to him, and it sounds so good. It sounds so good. And I'm pissed I didn't buy that CD. I'll never hear this fucker again. But it was so good. And it's funny. I wonder what's going to happen. I hope he ends up somewhere, you know? Somebody hears you. I hope you know, whoever you were. Somebody heard you and thought you were amazing. Um, but I've also heard some really bad people that think they're good. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Um, Whatever. You don't say nothing. I mean, they'll figure it out at some point that they need training or, more work harder, study more, work out your voice more, get training. um, I know I'm an alto. When I was in chorus as a kid, they told me They put me somewhere. Um, I know my range. I know there's songs I definitely can't do, and then I know there's songs I'm good at. Um, I can't believe I'm finally letting this out and going to accept the criticism from people who'll be like, "Oh, you're never gonna do this," or "You're not going nowhere," and da 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 da. But surprisingly, I've never had that happen. People have always been encouraging. It's more me telling myself I can't do this, or you're boring, or you you're like everybody else, or you're you're nothing anybody hasn't seen before. I'll tell myself these things thinking the worst. And then I'll just keep it quiet and go sing in the fucking bathroom and record and keep everything. And then I'll put it out there just to see, if anybody has an opinion, just in case. Like, because people, when I sing in front of people, people say good things. Putting it on YouTube, not so much. People don't say anything at all. Like, that can't be a good thing. Or who knows? I got I got 500 views on Why Don't You Do Right? And a lot of people liked it. And somebody actually said, "Is this really you? This is really good." So I thought, well, they're just being nice. Or maybe it's good. I don't know. I I just and then I keep working. And I'll make more covers and I'll think, it sucks and I don't want to do this and I sound like nobody and let me find another one. And I'm very picky, very picky. But anyways, I got a couple things in the works. I've got like 3 covers I want to do, and I've got 2 songs I wrote that I need to work on. And I was gonna aim for a song a day, and then I thought, okay, slow down. Let this shit come to you, and listen to other music and get inspired. And I'm really inspired by that guy that sings the song "Beautiful Things." Love it. I'm really freaking inspired by this song called "Controversy." I put it on a few videos by Natalia Kills, and I listen to it all the time because I love the beat, you know. Um, so in the Dead South, of course, and then I'll get to writing, or just naturally this shit comes to me, and I don't know. I'm just gonna keep working on it, and I need to uh, hopefully get a job. Hopefully somebody hires me so I can put some money towards this and get another laptop and some recording software and a microphone and stuff and just start over and keep doing it. And then um, some people are good at managing artists. I need to find somebody that's good with what's the next step. You know what I mean? What do you do next? Um, because that's where I'm like, I don't know. You can make all this music and it can just sit there, you know, I guess. Um, that's I can run away with it, which would be awful. That happened to me before, actually. I'm not saying somebody stole it, but I recorded a song. I had a sample from Casey and JoJo, a song people don't really know. It's called Girl. And there's this part in the song that goes, "How could you do this to me?" And so I put a song together, had the first verse, second verse, all that, and the chorus. So I changed it to "Why did you do this to me?" And I used that, and I lost. I recorded it. I had the software on my laptop. I recorded a couple things too. Like one thing I recorded with my nephew in the background when he was kind of a baby. he would say, "I believe," and he'd say it in this cute manner, and I'd sing a song over it, and I barely even remember what I freaking wrote. Um, but I had it all together, and then my laptop was gone. So there goes that. I still remember, and then I have like melodies in my head that I really, really want to work on, and I can't find a way to do it. It's really frustrating to have the melody in your head and you have no way of getting it out. I don't know how to freaking, it drives me fucking crazy because it's been in my head since I was like 21 years old. Like this, I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to keep it to myself. Because it's just one of those things that, like, until I can freaking make it perfect and have it arranged, have a real song, I'm not saying, oh, word. Um, so, anyways, yeah. Obviously, you can see what I'm really passionate about, and that's why my life goes nowhere because everything else I do is like killing time just to do these things. Um, Everything else is just to get by. Um, I did go to art school, but that's because I love it. Um, I was gonna actually go to a recording art school, and it was too expensive. And I visited, I got inspired. I had the little book of artists they work with, like Stevie Wonder and stuff, and I just I'll I'll find a way into that world somehow. Um, if other people can do it, who's to say you can't? All right, so that's it. I could go on and on about this crap for the next 3 hours. But instead, I'm going to start listening to some stuff to get inspired for writing. And hopefully, not today, I'm not going to work on those songs. I need a break from it because my mind has to like create another, my mind has to naturally, has to form in my head, and I have to let that happen. So the best way for that to work out is what I always do. I walk and I listen to music. I'll do that for about 4 hours a day. And next thing you know, there's all this stuff in my head. And that's where it comes from. I'll listen to, I have playlists. Right now, another artist I'm really feeling is a song by Lady Gaga called Bloody Mary. And it's not the I mean, the whole song is great, but there's this part in it that goes and I really just like that part. It sounds like either it's a cell phone or a cop car. Something about it sounds like a cop car to me. And I just think about how people put stuff like that together. Like you'll take the sound of being at a basketball game, that that Drake does. I love that so much. The beginning of his song Forever is like this huge um thingamajigger from a basketball game, and then the song starts and the beat and all that. And I get inspired by the little things. You could hear traffic and get inspired by the sound of the cars. And I pull my inspirations from all kinds of places, but for the most part, I really like to listen to um like just a piano, you know. I'll hear just a piano and be like, well, there goes the song. I'll write it in like 10 minutes and record it. And then maybe takes like a few tries to record it, but I could do it in a day. And if I'm ready to do it, sometimes I have to listen to that shit for a year. And somehow it never comes out. And then I'll come out of nowhere and the song will be done. Um, Anyways, I know I've never talked about this stuff before, but it's mostly because I didn't want to get discouraged. I didn't want people to say that ain't never going to happen. You're living in a fantasy or whatever. For some reason, I've had a lot of people in my life treat me like that, like I had stupid, um, when I traveled a lot, my dad would make comments and say, "Well, you're just a jet setter, aren't you?" Like he was pissed about me, you know, having that type of life, or you know, it it's sad that he did that because it's like I don't know. I'm not even gonna go into all that. Maybe another time. But yeah, I had a lot of discouragement from doing a lot of things I wanted to do, and led me to being a hermit with my dreams. I would just take it all in, shut myself into this shell, and have everything in there with me of my dreams that nobody could crack open. And every now and then I'd share it with people. I'd go sing I Still Believe by Mariah Carey and Brenda K. Starr at karaoke, and remember the bartender coming out of nowhere and just being like, that was really good. And it takes one person like that to change your mind, to make you think, well, really? You know, no, nobody ever said anything. Thanks. Um, the insecurity will always be there. And I think that's actually what makes great music. Um, the words, the words that come from your true emotions. And anyways, yeah, so I've got a lot of work to do. And I'm gonna get to that. It's probably gonna be for the rest of the month. I'm gonna do, or maybe a couple months. But I do need to get a job, and that's priority. Um, so I can at least have a better microphone, because recording on here just sucks. I do the best I can, but I want to, get situated before I make a bad recording of a good song. Um, so that's my goal right now, is to get hired by somebody. Apply to jobs every day, and hopefully that'll work out. Somebody will hire me, I think. I hope. And then I can keep working. And yeah, keep this shit to myself until I can find somebody who believes in me, who thinks, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.